His experience, he's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but sometimes when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
He knows distance well, and I don't think the other guys can like reach him or capitalize off of it.
Now, everybody's saying decision. Could a stoppage be on the table? Because you said like frustrate him.
Yeah, for sure. A stoppage is always in the works. These guys fighting with 8 ounces on no headgear. Anything can happen in boxing. Just be himself. Be him. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to these fans. Don't listen to these haters, naysaying doubters. Just be him. Do what he do best, and that's one.
Also, he's more of a fighter. Like he's a ring generalship. He's in there thinking. He's calm. He's having fun because Teofimo's been proving it before. And I gotta emphasize this. If someone can pull it off, it's definitely Teofimo Lopez. If Teofimo Lopez doesn't do it, I don't see who is gonna beat Shakur Stevenson.
Many boxing professionals and seasoned insiders argue that Teofimo Lopez could realistically and convincingly overwhelm Shakur Stevenson, believing that Lopez's high-level ring IQ, sharp instincts, explosive footwork, and constant forward pressure could pose serious problems. They point to Lopez's quick movement, aggressive mindset, and ability to dictate pace as factors that might disrupt Stevenson's more calculated, technical, and defense-first style. According to this view, Stevenson's reliance on precision, timing, and control could be tested heavily if Lopez succeeds in forcing chaotic exchanges, closing distance rapidly, and refusing to allow a slow, methodical rhythm to develop. Supporters of this argument feel that Lopez thrives in moments of intensity, using momentum and confidence to overwhelm opponents, and they believe that sustained pressure combined with athletic explosiveness could break through even the most disciplined defensive approach.
Teofimo showed you that he can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight. One thing that I love about this fight, Bud? Shakur's very athletic, very talented. So is Teofimo. He's more explosive with power, but Teofimo is very athletic. He is very talented. You got two athletic guys, two talented guys. Again, Teofimo I would favor with the power. This is going to be interesting.
Fighters and respected experts often point to Teofimo Lopez's natural size, physical strength, and overall power as significant advantages in this matchup, particularly when measured against a highly skilled but naturally lighter opponent like Shakur Stevenson. They believe that Lopez's ability to impose his physical presence, absorb contact, and deliver forceful shots could play a crucial role, potentially allowing him to control exchanges and dictate moments of a fight where raw strength and durability become decisive factors.
He's a very special athlete, and as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Teofimo is a two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him. Right, he outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him, he outfought him, he had speed, power, and then again against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog, so he saves his best for his biggest moment.
Lopez himself has openly claimed that his game plan is to deliberately make the fight ugly, uncomfortable, and physically demanding, aiming to force constant exchanges by fully using his size, strength, and physicality at 140 pounds to disrupt and break Shakur Stevenson's natural rhythm. He has emphasized his intention to deny Stevenson the space and timing he relies on, applying pressure to create chaotic moments where power becomes the deciding factor. According to Lopez, this approach is designed to allow him to land heavy, damaging shots consistently, with the ultimate goal of pushing the fight toward dramatic stoppage rather than allowing it to play out as a slow, tactical bout decided by the judges.
He's a very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
You know, can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world, scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general. Me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work and me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
According to Shane Mosley, Stevenson could be making a significant and potentially costly mistake by stepping into the ring against such an explosive and powerful fighter at 140 pounds. Mosley's concern isn't a question of Shakur Stevenson's skill, technique, or overall talent, which are widely respected and proven, but rather centers on how his body will adapt and respond to the added weight. The challenge lies in whether Stevenson can maintain his speed, agility, and defensive precision after moving up in weight, and whether his body can handle the increased power and intensity that a naturally stronger opponent like Teofimo Lopez is likely to bring into every exchange during the fight.
I don't think that, well, maybe, I mean, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, you know, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving, you know, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that. So we just don't know.
Yeah, the thing is I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, and you're fighting at 140, so let's see, I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't.
Fighters who have previously made similar jumps in weight have warned that Stevenson could experience a noticeable drop in speed at 140 pounds, potentially losing the sharp footwork, rapid head movement, and lightning-quick reactions that have long defined his dominance in the ring. At the same time, Lopez thrives at this weight, using a combination of explosive speed, raw power, and imposing physicality to control exchanges, pressure opponents, and dictate the pace of the fight. These experts caution that the added weight could blunt Stevenson's usual agility and timing, making it more difficult for him to evade attacks and maintain the fluidity that has been central to his success, while Lopez's strengths become increasingly pronounced and dangerous at this higher division.
This scenario, what if it's the Teofimo that beat Lomachenko? What if that Teofimo shows up?
Like I said, at Lomachenko, it's a not easy fight. Teofimo's able to be in the ring with different type of fighters and figure it out. The fighters that Shakur Stevenson was in with, they couldn't figure it out or get close to figuring it out. Whereas Teofimo had to figure out that type of style, and Lomachenko is a hard fight to fight. So that's why this fight is so interesting. And for Shakur Stevenson to move up to 140 to fight him is definitely a hats off to him.
Do you have a favorite on paper in that fight at all, Shane?
I believe it's 50-50. It's a fight that I just have to sit down and watch and just want to see, like I said, who imposed their will on the other.
Experts such as Andre Ward believe that at this elite level, the fight could be decided by the smallest of margins, with execution on fight night, precise timing, and peak conditioning playing a critical role in determining the winner. Ward emphasizes that stylistically, there is very little to separate these two top-tier athletes, as both possess exceptional skill sets, technical proficiency, and the ability to adapt in the ring. According to this perspective, the outcome may hinge on who can perform flawlessly under pressure, maintain focus, and capitalize on even the slightest opportunity, making preparation, mental fortitude, and physical readiness absolutely decisive in a matchup where the differences are subtle but ultimately decisive.
Respect them both, because Teo knows it's going to be a real fight. Shakur knows it's going to be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there. But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson. But what he does bring to the table and what Shakur does have to deal with is explosive power, quick twitch, muscles, and the type of punches that he likes to throw. And Teo doesn't have the foot game that Shakur has, but he's got a decent foot.
Max Kellerman points out that Shakur Stevenson enters this fight carrying significantly more to lose, given his flawless technical reputation, undefeated record, and the high expectations that accompany both. In contrast, Teofimo Lopez, positioned as the underdog, has much more to gain, facing lower pressure and enjoying greater freedom to take risks, which creates a scenario where the stakes are unevenly distributed. This dynamic makes the fight especially dangerous and unpredictable, as Stevenson must protect his legacy, while Lopez can capitalize on opportunities without the same burden, turning every exchange into a high-stakes moment where momentum, confidence, and split-second decisions could dramatically shift the outcome in either fighter's favor.
Is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy. On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to
Paulie Molinági notes that Shakur Stevenson's elite defensive skills make him a uniquely talented fighter, one who is exceptionally difficult to overcome in the ring, and whose technical mastery sets him apart at the highest level of competition. However, Aji also believes that if Teofimo Lopez brings his absolute best performance, combining power, speed, aggression, and ring intelligence, he has a real chance to upset Stevenson and secure a victory. According to this perspective, while Stevenson's defensive brilliance gives him a clear advantage, Lopez's ability to execute flawlessly at his peak, maintain relentless pressure, and exploit even the smallest openings could turn the fight in his favor, making the outcome highly competitive and unpredictable.
Is at his most dangerous when he's counted out, and this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur. And then they would all come undone because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back against the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so damn good. There's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. I've seen it. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen, okay? I'm just stipulating it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight. Because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about, man, Teofimo, again, what I just explained.
He's got the talent to
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, oh, what about Shakur now?
While Teofimo Lopez's explosiveness, power, and relentless aggression give him a legitimate and realistic chance to win, he must be fully prepared to contend with Shakur Stevenson's elite defensive skills, precise footwork, and constant movement, which form the core of Stevenson's strategy in the ring. Stevenson's approach focuses on controlling distance, dictating the pace of exchanges, frustrating his opponent, and minimizing risk by avoiding heavy, fight-altering shots. To succeed, Lopez will need to not only bring his peak physical performance, but also adjust tactically, find ways to penetrate Stevenson's defenses, and capitalize on any openings, making every moment in the fight critical as the two athletes battle at the highest level.
With that being said, then, what does Teo got to do to win? he has to get Shakur up. How would I say this? I don't want to just make it seem like come across as if Shakur is novice, but the times that Shakur is putting himself against the ropes, this is the time that Teofimo is going to have to depend on his explosiveness. He's going to have to depend on his offset lead right hands. He's going to have, but even doing that, everything with Teo comes off his front foot, his explosiveness, his speed, everything. So it's almost like whenever the times he get Shakur up against the rope, he got to pick his shots well, but then after that he have to be ready to defend, because with Shakur the return is always coming. So he got to go into the offensive lane, but he have to go into it with good defense, which in my opinion he really don't do that good when he's going into offense. He usually come in to an offense lane like with his lead hand down, coming with head movement. But I just believe when you do get closer to Shakur, he's going to have to overload with work. He's going to have to really double up with one hand. He's going to have to use his feet, bust angles, things of that nature. So
Devin Haney claims that for Teofimo Lopez to defeat Shakur Stevenson, he must remain consistently more active, assertive, and aggressive throughout the entirety of the fight. While Lopez's natural explosiveness, power, and physical tools are undeniably dangerous, his output in recent bouts has often been inconsistent, measured, or intermittent, which allows a highly technical, mobile, and disciplined fighter like Stevenson to control the pace, dictate exchanges, and impose his preferred rhythm. Stevenson excels at precise movement, counterpunching, and managing distance, making it difficult for opponents to land meaningful shots if they do not maintain relentless pressure. Therefore, Lopez must sustain a higher volume of punches, press forward aggressively, and consistently force engagements instead of waiting for perfect openings to present themselves. By increasing activity and maintaining constant forward pressure, Lopez can disrupt Stevenson's spacing, prevent him from settling into the defensive patterns that typically frustrate aggressive fighters, and create opportunities to land impactful, fight-changing shots that could ultimately decide the outcome in his favor.
Fight for boxing. I'm excited to see that. Styles make fights. I think Shakur is just a more superior boxer. I think that Teo is athletic and he has skills, but I see Shakur winning.
You think Teo, to win a fight like that, would have to be a little bit more active? It seems like he likes to throw one punch at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he could be athletic, but I think he would just have to be, it would have to be a method to his madness for sure. I don't think athletic would.
Teofimo Lopez makes it absolutely clear that he will not allow Shakur Stevenson to take the belt he has worked tirelessly to earn, emphasizing the immense sacrifices, relentless effort, and unwavering dedication that have defined his journey to the top. He explains that the title represents years of struggle, pain, and perseverance, symbolizing everything he has built through hard work and personal commitment. For Lopez, this fight is about protecting what he has earned, defending his achievements, and proving the value of the countless hours, discipline, and determination invested along the way. He expresses a deep belief in himself and a fierce determination to maintain his position in the ring, viewing this moment as intensely personal, driven by pride, effort, and the knowledge that no one can take away what he has legitimately earned through blood, sweat, and unwavering commitment to his craft.
Exactly. Of being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened. Things of that nature. Just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide. Let the people really see what it was and has always been: the best fighting the best, and the winner becomes the man or the woman.
Yeah. Look, fighting Shakur Stevenson, he is an exceptional fighter. He comes under a lot of criticism, though, for his style of fighting. Some people describe him as a boring fighter. How do you think the fight between you two will play out, and what do you think needs to happen to negate people saying that about that fight?
No, that's a well thoughtful question. Honestly, it's a real nice assessment to see how everyone looks at a certain fighter, right? And I think that holds on to Shakur Stevenson when people say he's boring or he's not as entertaining. And I think that with a fighter like himself, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's undefeated for a reason. Maybe some people don't like it, but this is why the takeover is here. To make it at least fun and make it great, and do what I can to engage on that. Now, how do we do that? Well, you guys got to...
Bruce Carrington, a highly respected boxing analyst and experienced fighter, highlights a significant vulnerability in Teofimo Lopez's approach when facing Shakur Stevenson: difficulty handling dynamic movement and disciplined spacing. While Lopez possesses exceptional athleticism, explosive power, and heavy-hitting ability, Carrington points out that he has historically struggled to adapt when opponents consistently shift angles, vary positioning, and avoid predictable patterns in the ring. Stevenson's composure, tactical intelligence, and mastery of distance management could exploit this weakness, potentially forcing Lopez to overcommit, miss critical opportunities, or grow frustrated if he cannot pin Stevenson down effectively. Carrington emphasizes that if Stevenson successfully dictates the pace, maintains disciplined movement, and controls the rhythm of exchanges, he could neutralize Lopez's power, forcing Lopez to fight reactively on Stevenson's terms rather than imposing his usual aggressive and dominant style, which could ultimately shift the balance of the bout in Stevenson's favor.
Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. So we got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog, and both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. I don't see, just because southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of that approach of the fight, nah. Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So
Greg Hackett delivers a sharp, insightful, and balanced prediction for the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez matchup, leaning towards Stevenson winning by decision due to his exceptional discipline, high-level ring IQ, and proven ability to control fights and dictate the pace. At the same time, Hackett emphasizes that boxing is inherently unpredictable and that Teofimo Lopez cannot be underestimated or dismissed, as his explosiveness, timing, and relentless hustle could dramatically alter the fight in a single, decisive moment. Despite this, Hackett sees Stevenson's consistency, preparation, and strategic awareness as the ultimate deciding factors, noting that Stevenson fully understands the threat Lopez poses and will train with unmatched focus and intensity for this defining bout. With two elite-level competitors meeting at their absolute peak, Hackett views the fight as a collision where greatness challenges greatness, a matchup where every exchange matters and where anything can unfold, making the outcome exciting, uncertain, and potentially historic.
I think Shakur. Yeah, my first mind told me Shakur, and I thought about it. Yeah, I'm picking Shakur by decision, but because this is fighting, anything can happen. You can't count Teo out. So there is thoughts sometimes that cross my brain, like, damn, what if Teo catch him like real good though? You know what I mean? And hurt him, or what if he just out hustling? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of shit across my mind, but I still like Shakur for the dub. I like Shakur for the dub because he knows how to win. Like, he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? And he's always prepared to win. So, and I think Shakur respects Teo to the point where he's gonna train like he's never trained before, because this is a great fight for him. This is probably the best fight of his career. When you put Magic and Bird together, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of situation it is. Magic Johnson was nice, but Larry Bird was nice. You put them together, you get a nice game. You know what I mean, so you put these two together, you get a nice fight.
Is this one of the fights that we're going to remember historically? Like, is this a, you know,
to go back and
it's
study.
19. It's 19. When did Leonard and Hearns first fight? Is this one of them?
That shit was like 87 or some shit. Yeah,
it's 19.
Like 87 or something.
No, it had to be earlier than that, right?
84
the first
maybe.
One? Yeah, like
I don't know, because he was in the 76 Olympics. Well, no, 70.
Wasn't it 78?
No, they ain't fighting 78.
No, I'm saying 78 Olympics, wasn't he?
Probably 78 or some shit.
Teofimo Lopez brings explosive power, imposing size, and relentless forward pressure into the ring, and he has consistently shown that he can seriously hurt opponents who remain in range and attempt to trade punches with him. However, many analysts highlight that Lopez can struggle when facing fighters who consistently disrupt his rhythm through movement, angle changes, and unpredictable positioning. Shakur Stevenson's greatest strengths lie in his exceptional control of distance, dynamic footwork, and precise timing, tools he uses expertly to frustrate aggressive pressure fighters while avoiding clean, damaging shots. If Stevenson keeps Lopez constantly moving, alters levels and angles, and forces him to repeatedly reset his offense, Lopez may miss more often than he lands, becoming increasingly frustrated and less effective. Stevenson's discipline, strategic spacing, and masterful tactical boxing could effectively neutralize Lopez's power, making it extremely difficult for Lopez to impose his usual aggressive style and forcing him to fight on Stevenson's terms rather than dictating the pace of the bout.
Shakur Stevenson can win this on points, Spencer, but he's going to have to be at his very, very best. As we look at these images of the two men, this is the fight that ignites the American market this year. It's obviously got the backing of Turki Al Sheikh, Ring Magazine. The key for me is, can Shakur be big enough to withstand what Teo is going to bring physically as well as psychologically and technically in this fight?
Absolutely, and that's the fascination surrounding this fight. You look at this one and you say, Shakur Stevenson, if he can step up another weight division and become 4-weight world champion, this is his chance now to become that superstar, that all-time great. You know, not just a generational great, but an all-time great. And I've really believed that. Like I've always said, Shakur Stevenson for me will emerge as this great fighter, and I think this is his fight right now. I think that he wins this fight as well.
Teofimo Lopez believes that Shakur Stevenson agreed to this fight primarily to prove a point, arguing that Stevenson was inspired by Terence Crawford's historic upset over Canelo Alvarez and now wants to make his own statement by defeating Lopez. Lopez asserts that Stevenson had relatively few viable challengers at 140 pounds, and he sees this matchup as Stevenson's opportunity to demonstrate that he belongs at the very top after witnessing someone close to him achieve a major milestone in boxing. Lopez also insists that he will expose flaws in Stevenson's defensive game, suggesting that Stevenson's motivation stems at least in part from a desire to prove himself and his capabilities rather than merely pursuing the title itself, making this fight as much a test of pride and personal validation as it is a championship bout.
Me. I believe in me before anybody else believed in me. Shakur is stepping up because he got nobody else to go after. He's stepping up to try to prove a point. You know, his big bro, a.k.a. Terence Bud Crawford, you know, put a huge upset and made a historical moment in time. I think those things like that make Shakur want to step up the plate, step up to the challenge, and face Teofimo. Who is I? I mean, we were stablemates, me and Shakur, top rank. He talks about this and that and about I was jealous of him. No, I'm not. You were a 2016 USA silver medalist. You're going to get your signing bonus and all that extra stuff. Thing was, they were trying to secure him in a different route because they had put a lot of money in him. Me, I think I was just supposed to be an opponent eventually. I'm possessively obsessed with this.
That's why they call me crazy. It's all right.
Robert Garcia, the elite trainer behind fighters like Virgil Ortiz Jr., has publicly shared his perspective on the Stevenson versus Lopez matchup and revealed his prediction for the fight. While fully acknowledging that Shakur Stevenson is technically the superior boxer, Garcia states that he is picking Teofimo Lopez to win, not necessarily because Lopez is better overall, but because he admires Lopez's mindset, heart, and relentless, warrior-like spirit. Garcia emphasizes that Lopez's confidence, toughness, and willingness to throw heavy, fight-altering punches under pressure could ultimately make the difference, particularly if he maintains focus and delivers his absolute best performance. According to Garcia, the outcome of this matchup will hinge on which fighter executes their game plan most effectively and remains composed under the immense pressure of fight night, making mental resilience and strategic discipline as important as physical skill.
Teofimo has had some great performances, great wins. Shakur is also a 3-division champion, going for his 4th. Unbelievable talent. It's a fight where we're going to see talent from both, but we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man. I think that fight's going to be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. Because it's going to be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all going to be standing up because we want to see who's going to land and who's going to be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime. They're both, that's what boxing is.
What do you think will unfold when Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson finally step into the ring and face each other head-to-head? Will Lopez's explosive power, size, and aggressive style be enough to overwhelm Stevenson? Or will Stevenson's elite defensive skills, precise timing, and tactical mastery allow him to control the pace and dictate the fight? This is more than just a battle of physical ability. It's a clash of strategy, heart, and mental resilience, where every punch, every feint, and every adjustment could tip the scales. Fans are on edge. Experts are divided, and the stakes couldn't be higher as these two elite fighters collide in what promises to be a defining showdown.